Welcome, spicy ladies. What if the very thing the world tells you to fear, change, is the thing that could set you free? Sigma females understand this better than most. They shapeshift not because they are confused about who they are, but because they know identity is not a fixed costume you wear forever. It is clay in their hands, something to be shaped, reshaped, and even broken down when life's fire demands it. For them, to remain fixed is to suffocate. To shift is to breathe. Think about it. Every stage of life demands a different version of you. The way you handle yourself in friendships, relationships, or even at work shifts as you grow. Most people resist this, clinging tightly to one identity because it feels safe. But Sigma females see safety in movement. They flow with life's changes, and in doing so, they remain untamed, always just out of reach of being controlled. This ability is not about hiding. It is about freedom. It is the refusal to let anyone box them into roles that no longer serve them. It is the quiet courage to shed skins and step into new ones, even when others are too afraid to let go. This shifting is not about pretending or pleasing. It is about survival, wisdom, and freedom. If you feel yourself shifting, do not see it as a flaw. See it as proof that you are alive, evolving, and growing in ways most people never dare to. That is not weakness. That is power. That is what keeps you unstoppable. Let's dive into it. Spicy ladies. Number 1. They shapeshift because they refuse to be trapped in any single definition of who they are. Labels bore them, so they outgrow them faster than others can keep up. A Sigma female knows that the world loves categories. People feel safer when they can say she's this kind of person or she belongs here. But she is not the kind you can easily classify. The moment you think you have figured her out, she has already moved to another layer of herself, leaving you behind. Think about it. How many times have you seen someone try to live up to a label only to end up suffocating under it? Maybe it is the career woman who is expected to be tough at all times, even when her heart longs for softness, or the gentle one who is never allowed to show her strength because people only see her as sweet. The Sigma female breaks free from this trap. She knows life is not one note, but a whole song, and she intends to play every part of it. Her shape-shifting is not deception. It is evolution in real time. Imagine her in a workplace setting. One moment she can sit quietly, absorbing details nobody else notices, and the next she can step into leadership with clarity that silences the noise. In her personal life, she can be a calm listener for a struggling friend. Yet when faced with unfairness, she can shift into unshakable resolve. This ability to move between roles without losing herself is rare. It confuses people who rely on simple boxes to understand others. But for her, it is natural. It is not about wearing masks, but about embracing her many dimensions. If you are this kind of woman, take pride in your shifting nature. Do not let anyone convince you that you must choose a single version of yourself and stay there forever. The world changes, life changes, and you have the gift of keeping pace with it. That is not something to hide. That is something to celebrate. Because while others remain stuck, you are always becoming. Right now, if you are still watching, I hope this video can help you. Your comments motivate me so much, so I can make more videos which you like. So hit that subscribe button and leave me a message. Let's continue. Number 2. They adapt their energy to the room, not to blend in, but to observe how truth reveals itself when people think she is ordinary. This is one of the quietest, yet most powerful qualities of a Sigma female. She understands that people show very different sides of themselves, depending on who they believe is watching. When they think she is just another face in the room, their guard drops. That is when their real character begins to leak out. It is almost like watching a stage play when the lights are dimmed and the actors forget there is still an audience. In everyday life, you see this play out often. Think about a workplace meeting. Everyone is performing for the boss, speaking carefully, polishing their words. But once the boss steps out, the mask starts slipping. That is the moment a Sigma female pays attention. She adapts her presence so subtly that people forget she is listening. And in that silence, she learns who is genuine and who is only pretending. This habit extends far beyond the office. At family gatherings or social circles, she may sit quietly, asking small questions, smiling gently. People may assume she is passive or simply present for the moment, but she is studying. She notices who interrupts others, who dominates conversations, and who shows kindness without expecting recognition. While everyone else is busy trying to be seen, she is busy seeing. What makes this powerful is that her adaptability does not cost her authenticity. She is not changing to please. She is adjusting to understand. By softening her presence, she creates a mirror where people reveal themselves. And what she gathers is more valuable than any surface performance. If you are this type of woman, know that your ability to step back without disappearing is a rare strength. It allows you to read the truth beneath appearances. Do not underestimate the gift of being underestimated. While others are busy trying to impress, you are uncovering what really matters. And that knowledge gives you a kind of quiet power that no performance can match. If you are a black spicy lady and you are trying to improve yourself every day, that's amazing already. Subscribe me and grow together. Let's continue. Number 3, they shape-shift because survival has always demanded reinvention. They understand that rigidity breaks, but fluidity bends and survives. This is not just a trait of Sigma females. It is a timeless truth about life itself. Look at nature and you will see the same lesson. A tree that refuses to bend in a heavy storm snaps in half, while the grass that sways with the wind still stands after the storm has passed. The Sigma female has taken this lesson to heart. Not in theory, but through experience. Life has a way of testing people. Jobs disappear, relationships change, and unexpected challenges show up without warning. Some people cling to what they know, refusing to adapt, and eventually they crumble under the pressure. But the Sigma female has learned to reinvent herself when life demands it. If one door shuts, she does not waste years pounding on it. She finds another path, even if it means carving one out of stone with her own hands. Think of a woman who suddenly loses a job she has held for years. For many, this would feel like the end of stability. For a Sigma female, it is the beginning of a new version of herself. She may pivot into a completely different career, develop a new skill, or build something of her own. What looks like a setback to others becomes her chance to evolve. Her shape-shifting is not about pretending to be someone else. It is about survival with dignity. She understands that nothing in life is permanent and the only constant is change itself. By staying fluid, she preserves her strength. While others exhaust themselves resisting change, she bends, adapts, and rises again. If you are this kind of woman, take comfort in knowing that your ability to reinvent is your shield. It is what allows you to stand tall after storms that leave others broken. You are not fragile because you shift. You are unbreakable because you know when to move, when to bend, and when to transform. That is not weakness. That is wisdom in action. Number 4, they shift shapes not to avoid themselves, but to meet every version of themselves waiting to be discovered. A Sigma female knows she is not a finished product. She is a work in progress, constantly unfolding, like a book that reveals new chapters the deeper you go. Most people think of identity as something fixed, as if you are supposed to pick who you are at a certain age and stay that way forever. But she refuses to be frozen in time. She understands that life is too layered for one version of herself to be enough. Think about it. The person you were 5 years ago is not the person you are today. Maybe you once loved crowds, but now you value silence. Maybe you once chased stability, but now you crave freedom. A Sigma female embraces this transformation instead of resisting it. Each shift is not a loss of who she was, but a meeting with who she is becoming. You might see this in her career choices. She could be thriving in one field and then suddenly move into another. Not because she failed, but because she has grown beyond the old role. Or in her personal life, she may once have been the quiet observer only to discover a side of herself that speaks boldly and leads without hesitation. Every shift is like peeling back another layer of her own depth. This is not escape. It is discovery. She does not shapeshift to run from her truth, but to uncover the many truths inside her. Just as water takes the shape of every container, yet remains water, she reveals different forms of herself without losing her core. If you are this kind of woman, know that you are not inconsistent. You are evolving. Every new side you meet is a gift, a chance to expand, to learn, and to step into another version of your brilliance. Do not fear your shifting nature. Celebrate it because it means you are alive, growing, and unfolding into everything you are meant to be. Number 5. They shapeshift because they sense that most people fear change. By embodying change itself, they are always 2 steps ahead. Change unsettles people. It disrupts comfort, threatens routines, and forces them to face the unknown. Many cling to what they know, even if it no longer serves them, because familiarity feels safer than stepping into new territory. A Sigma female sees this hesitation clearly, and instead of resisting change, she becomes it. Think about how people react when life throws the unexpected at them. A sudden breakup, the loss of a job, or even something as small as a shift in daily structure can throw them off balance for months. They replay the past, wishing things stayed the same while life keeps moving forward. The Sigma female does the opposite. She has trained herself to flow with change. If life shuts one door, she does not stand frozen staring at it. She turns, adapts, and finds a new door before others even realize the first one has closed. Take the example of technology. Many people hesitate to learn new tools or resist updates because they are attached to the old way. A Sigma female is the one who dives in, experiments, and figures it out quickly. By the time others catch up, she is already using it to her advantage. This habit of embracing the unfamiliar keeps her ahead of the curve. Her shape-shifting is not about instability. It is a strategy. She knows the world will never stop changing. So, she chooses to move with it rather than be dragged by it. Where others see disruption, she sees opportunity. If you are this kind of woman, never doubt the power of your adaptability. While many fear what they cannot predict, you have the courage to stand in the middle of uncertainty and let it shape you. That is why you always rise ahead of the pack. You do not just survive change, you embody it, and that makes you unstoppable. Number 6, they shapeshift because they see identity as clay. It is not something to wear forever, but something to mold when the fire of life reshapes them. A Sigma female does not treat her identity like a rigid statue carved in stone. She treats it like something alive, something flexible, something that grows alongside her experiences. To her, identity is not a costume she puts on once and never removes. It is more like clay on a wheel, constantly being shaped by the lessons, struggles, and triumphs she encounters along the way. Think about clay in the hands of an artist. At first, it is rough and shapeless, but as the artist works with it, adding pressure here and smoothing it there, it becomes something new. Life is the same with her. Every heartbreak, every failure, every victory, every change acts like the hand of an artist pressing into her, reshaping her into something more refined. She does not resist this process. She embraces it. For instance, losing someone she deeply trusted might at first feel like destruction, but in time it reshapes her into a woman who understands loyalty on a deeper level. A career setback might burn away her old certainty. Yet from that fire, she discovers a new skill, a new passion, or a completely new path. Instead of clinging to who she was before the fire, she lets herself be molded into who she needs to be after it. What makes her different is that she does not fear this reshaping. Many people resist it because they want to hold on to the person they used to be. She knows that version served its purpose, but life always demands more. If you are this kind of woman, understand this clearly. Your ability to let life mold you does not mean you are weak or inconsistent. It means you are alive in the truest sense. You are not stuck in a single shape. You are continuously being remade, and each version of you carries more depth and strength than the last. That is not just survival. That is transformation in its purest form. Number 7, they mirror just enough of what you expect, not to please you, but to quietly measure how much of yourself you project onto them. This is one of the most subtle yet powerful qualities of a Sigma female. She understands that people often reveal more about themselves through their expectations than through their words. By reflecting back just a fraction of what someone anticipates, she creates a kind of mirror. And in that mirror, the other person's truth begins to surface. Picture this. In everyday life, a colleague assumes she is passive because she chooses silence in a meeting. She allows that impression to stand, and soon the colleague begins to overtalk, overexplain, or underestimate her without lifting a finger. She has revealed his ego and insecurity. Or imagine a friend who expects her to always play the role of the listener. She gives just enough of that listening role to keep the friend comfortable, and before long she notices how much the friend leans on her without offering the same support in return. These moments are not accidents. They are deliberate acts of quiet observation. She is not doing this to manipulate or deceive. Her intent is to study, to understand the depth of people's character without them realizing they are being observed. While most people rush to present their full selves, she allows space for others to project their assumptions onto her. And in that projection, they expose their values, their insecurities, and their intentions. This is why many underestimate her at first. They confuse her mirroring with agreement when in reality, she is simply gathering data. She does not fight to correct every misperception because she knows the truth always finds its way through the cracks. If you are this kind of woman, know that your silence is not emptiness. Your ability to mirror is not weakness. It is a strength that lets you read people in ways they cannot read you. You are not losing yourself in their reflection. You are using their reflection to understand the world more clearly, and that is a rare kind of wisdom. Number 8, they shape-shift because they treat life like a series of experiments. Every shift is a test, and every reaction becomes data. A Sigma female does not see life as something to be figured out once and live the same way forever. She sees it as a laboratory, a place where trying, failing, adjusting, and observing are not just acceptable, but necessary. This mindset sets her apart, because where most people fear making mistakes, she sees mistakes as information. Imagine her stepping into a new career path. Instead of worrying whether it will define her forever, she approaches it like an experiment. She asks herself, what can I learn here? How does this shape me? What does it reveal about the world and about myself? If the job serves its purpose, she keeps it. If it does not, she moves on with no guilt because the test is complete and the data has already enriched her. In relationships, she does something similar. She pays attention to how people respond to her different sides. When she chooses to be quiet, who respects her silence, and who grows uncomfortable. When she speaks boldly, who listens and who resists. These reactions are not just passing moments for her. They are lessons. They tell her who deserves a place in her life and who does not. Her shape-shifting is not about confusion. It is about collecting knowledge through lived experience. Just as a scientist learns by trial and error, she learns by shifting into different versions of herself and watching how the world responds over time. This makes her incredibly aware. She can predict patterns in people and in situations because she has tested enough variables to see the bigger picture. If you are this kind of woman, never doubt the power of your experimental spirit. While others live by rigid formulas, you are discovering truths that cannot be found in books or rules. You are not lost. You are gathering wisdom that only comes through testing, observing, and adapting. Every shift you make is building a deeper understanding of life, and that is a strength you possess. Number 9, they know people expose their real intentions when they believe she is one of them. That illusion gives her a rare advantage. A Sigma female understands something that most overlook. People are far less guarded when they think you are just like them. The moment they stop viewing you as different or threatening, their masks slip and their hidden motives begin to surface. Think about a workplace setting. When colleagues see her as ordinary, they feel comfortable enough to gossip freely, share half-truths, or reveal ambitions they would normally conceal. By sitting quietly and blending into the background, she becomes the safe presence they underestimate. But what they fail to realize is that she is absorbing every detail. She notices who pretends loyalty while secretly undermine. Others. She recognizes who is driven by greed and who is genuinely committed. That illusion of sameness becomes her most powerful tool for reading the room. The same plays out in social circles. If friends believe she is harmless, they let their guard down. Suddenly, subtle envy, manipulation, or selfishness reveals itself in casual conversation. Because they assume she is one of them, they stop filtering their behavior. What they forget is that she never needed to perform to be accepted. Her power lies in quietly observing the gap between what people say and what they actually mean. This rare advantage is not used for cruelty. She does not weaponize what she learns to destroy others. Instead, she uses it to decide who deserves her trust, her time, and her loyalty. By seeing the unfiltered side of people, she protects herself from betrayal long before it has the chance to unfold. If you are this kind of woman, recognize the strength in being underestimated. People will always reveal themselves when they feel safe around you. You do not need to force confessions or demand truth. It spills out naturally in your presence, and that insight gives you the freedom to move wisely, choosing connections with precision instead of blind trust. Number 10. They shapeshift because fixed roles suffocate them. They crave the freedom of being undefined, and shifting keeps them untamed. A Sigma female cannot stand the weight of being locked into one identity, one expectation, or one path for the rest of her life. To her, fixed roles feel like cages disguised as comfort. She knows that once people put you in a box, they stop seeing you as a living, breathing person and start seeing you as a role to be played forever. That is not living. That is existing on repeat. Think about how society often works. The moment you are good at something, people expect you to stay there. If you are the dependable friend, you are expected to always hold others up. If you are the quiet one, you are expected to never raise your voice. If you are the strong one, people assume you never break. These roles may seem flattering at first, but eventually they become suffocating. A Sigma female senses this trap early and refuses to stay still long enough for it to claim her. In her career, she might excel in one field and then suddenly pivot into something entirely different. It confuses people, but for her, it is liberation. In her relationships, she might be nurturing at times and fiercely independent at others. This constant shifting is not contradiction. It is freedom. It is her way of reminding herself and others that she is not defined by one version of who she is. Her refusal to stay fixed is what keeps her untamed. While others spend their lives rehearsing the same role, she explores her depth, discovering parts of herself that only appear when she dares to move beyond definition. That is why she always feels alive, even when life changes course. If you are this kind of woman, do not let anyone convince you that consistency means staying the same. True consistency is staying true to your freedom, even if that means breaking the mold again and again. Your shifting nature is not instability. It is the purest form of liberation. You are not meant to be caged. You are meant to remain untamed. Number 11. They use shapeshifting as a silent armor. Instead of announcing power, they conceal it. And in that concealment lies their edge. A Sigma female understands that showing all her strength up front makes her predictable. When people can measure your power, they can also prepare to counter it. She chooses the opposite approach. She hides more than she reveals, and that silence becomes her protection. Picture a game of chess. The strongest player is not the one who boasts about every move in advance. It is the one who keeps her strategy hidden until the perfect moment, catching her opponent off guard. That is exactly how a Sigma female operates in life. In her workplace, she might appear calm, listening while others dominate the room with their opinions. People assume she has nothing to add, but when the right moment arrives, she delivers insight that shifts the entire conversation. That single move outweighs all the noise made before her. In relationships, her quiet armor works the same way. She does not display her boundaries loudly or demand respect with constant reminders. Instead, she observes, waits, and when someone crosses the line, she responds with clarity that leaves no doubt where she stands. The power was always there, but concealed until it was necessary. This kind of silent armor protects her from unnecessary battles. She does not waste energy proving herself to everyone she meets. She saves it for the moments that matter. And because no one can fully read her, she stays unpredictable, which is a strength very few people possess. If you are this kind of woman, understand the brilliance of your hidden power. Not every move needs to be broadcast. Not every strength needs to be displayed. By concealing more than you reveal, you are not shrinking yourself. You are protecting your essence and keeping your edge sharp. The world may underestimate you, but that is exactly where your advantage begins. Number 12, they shapeshift because they are hunters of truth. Disguise allows them to see who hides behind false charm or hollow authority. A Sigma female knows that people rarely show their true face. Many wear charm like a mask, using smiles and polished words to cover motives that do not match their actions. Others hide behind titles or positions, hoping authority alone will disguise their lack of substance. By shifting her own presence, she draws out what is hidden, revealing truth that most people miss. Imagine her in a workplace where someone constantly brags about leadership. Instead of challenging that person directly, she adjusts her energy, playing along just enough to make them comfortable. When they believe she poses no threat, they relax and their real behavior comes to light. Suddenly, the arrogance, the shortcuts, and the hollowness behind the charm become obvious. She never had to confront them head on. Their truth revealed itself because she chose disguise over display. The same happens in personal circles. Someone might present themselves as a loyal friend or a caring partner, but she does not rush to believe appearances. She shifts her presence, sometimes soft, sometimes distant, sometimes observant, watching carefully how they react. The inconsistency in their behavior becomes the clue. Words can lie, but reactions rarely do, and she is skilled at noticing the gap between the two. Her shape-shifting is not about trickery. It is about clarity. By disguising her power, she clears away the illusions others create and uncovers what lies beneath. She does not fall for empty charm or borrowed authority because she has already tested it. If you are this kind of woman, take pride in your ability to hunt for truth without announcing it. While others get blinded by charisma or titles, you see what lives beneath the surface. Your shape-shifting is not weakness. It is a tool, a weapon, and a shield all at once. You are not fooled by appearances because you know how to look deeper than the mask, and that makes you nearly impossible to deceive. In final words, what if your ability to change is not weakness, but your greatest strength? Sigma females shapeshift not because they are lost or uncertain, but because they refuse to be trapped inside a single version of themselves. They know that life is not fixed, and neither are they. Where others cling to titles, labels, and roles, they move freely, exploring the many sides of who they can be. That freedom is not chaos. It is mastery. To shapeshift is to stay alive to possibility. It is the courage to let go of who you were yesterday in order to meet who you are meant to be tomorrow. Most people fear change because it shakes their comfort. But Sigma females wear change like second skin. They do not just adapt to the world. They bend with it, learn from it, and in many ways stay ahead of it. Think of a chameleon. It does not lose itself when it changes color. It survives. It thrives. That is what shape-shifting really is. The art of survival that grows into the art of becoming by holding both softness and steel. By choosing when to be seen and when to disappear. Sigma females show that life is not about locking yourself into one identity. It is about molding yourself as life molds you. So if you are listening to this and sometimes feel caught between versions of yourself, take it as a sign of strength. You are not inconsistent. You are evolving. You are not confusing. You are complex. And complexity is power. Keep shifting. Keep molding. Keep meeting the many selves inside you that the world has not yet seen. That is where your freedom lives. That is where your edge lies. And that is why no one can truly contain you. Stay true to yourself. To all the spicy ladies, make life beautiful. Thank you for watching, and God bless.